Hello friends and welcome to Foundations Community Partnership's first ever Partnership in Youth Services virtual luncheon. Seeing these photos from last year's event reminds us just how much our personal and professional lives have changed in a short amount of time. These last 8 months have been extremely challenging, but we can all be very proud on how our nonprofit sector, with the help of so many in our respective communities, responded to this challenge. As prominent business leader Ginny Rometty once said, growth and comfort do not coexist. So here we are in October of 2020 in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, and we continue to evolve personally and professionally. Like so many of you, we here at FCP asked ourselves how we can best serve our nonprofit partners and community during a time of transition and change. Today's virtual luncheon is part of this change because we did not want to miss the opportunity to recognize all of you for your hard work and making sure your colleagues and clients are safe and feel supported. And we wanted to continue to support your professional development through another outstanding keynote address. We strive to meet organizations where they are, to listen and learn from them, to understand their mission and goals, and together try to move the needle forward to help increase their impact. Thank you again for all you do to make our community stronger. Before we get started, a special thank you to the entire team here at FCP, our board of directors, and our many sponsors who enthusiastically supported the idea of today's virtual luncheon. Now sit back, stop multitasking, and enjoy the show.
Hello, friends, colleagues, nonprofit partners, and donors. As the founding executive director of Foundations Community Partnership, I'd like to welcome you and thank you all for joining us. For those who have been with us in the past, you know that our annual Partnership in Youth Services Luncheon has been a great opportunity to bring our nonprofit community together, not only to recognize this year's awardees, but to create an environment where we all connect, learn, and be inspired. While we all miss the opportunity to see and talk with each other in person, I'm so impressed with the great and creative work that continues during these challenging times. I have no doubt that we continue to think boldly about new ways to work together to increase our collective impact. It is also important to stay focused on our common mission to support the behavioral health and human service needs of the children and young adults in Bucks County. I'd like to thank Toby Brune, our new executive director, our FCP team, and our board of directors for making this locale event possible and for giving me the opportunity to participate. Congratulations to all of this year's awardees, both the new organizations we are meeting and the veteran organizations that have long served our community. It is up to all of us to continue to be part of the light. Thank you and enjoy the day.
Good afternoon, friends, and welcome to the FCP's Partnership in Youth Virtual Luncheon. I'm Tom Hanna, and on behalf of the Board of Directors, I'd like to welcome the nonprofit community of Bucks County and thank you for your hard work and dedication. It's your hard work that helps Bucks County become a stronger and healthier community. I'd also like to thank my fellow board members for their service and support of the FCP mission. In addition, I'd like to thank Boger and Associates, Merrill Lynch of Bucks County, and Bishop and Associates for managing our finances and making this all possible. Lastly, I'd like to thank the great team at FCP for your hard work and dedication. Toby, Ron, Caroline, and Dan, this all would not be possible without your hard work. So enjoy the presentation and help us celebrate the great work around Bucks County.
Hi, my name is George, and I'm going to be playing a piece called Arabesque.
Hey everyone, this is Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick, and thank you to Foundations Community Partnership for allowing me to join you. And I know this event is very different from previous years, but I'm happy to be able to join you here today. And I would like to take a moment to congratulate the recipients of this year's Partnership and Youth Service Grants. We are so very proud of you. Your tireless work and dedication to our community speaks volumes, and it's extremely appreciated by all of us who call Bucks County home. As you know, nonprofit organizations play such a crucial role in creating healthy and vibrant communities here and across our country. You provide critical services that contribute to our community stability, prosperity, and well-being. Nonprofit leaders and volunteers like yourself are also leaders in our communities, and you provide a voice for those whom you serve. And I just want to thank you for all of your hard work. Our community is a big heart, we all know that, and I am proud of all of our community members here who have come together to assist those in need and be a voice for those who need a voice. And it's that service that we are all called to. God bless you.
Hi, I'm County Commissioner Bob Harvey. On behalf of the county government and the people of Bucks County, I want to thank Foundations Community Partnership and all the nonprofits for the work they're doing. This year, I can't imagine how difficult it is, especially working with young people. I spent 26 years as a public school teacher, so I know the value of working with young people and the challenges of working with young people. But I always had the luxury of working with them in person. I could see them, I could talk to them. Since the schools have been closed, I can't imagine how much more difficult your job has been, and yet we need your services more than ever, because kids really need to have that network around them of support, and they don't have it. So please continue the great work you're doing. Congratulations to those who are getting awarded these grants, and thank you for everything.
Hi everybody. I'm sorry we can't all be together for the Foundation's Community Partnership Luncheon this year. It's always one of my favorite events, so I'm looking forward to next year and seeing you there. You know, they always say it takes a village, and when we are at the Foundation's Luncheon, I always feel like the whole village is there. Everybody who does anything to help people in Bucks County is at that luncheon. I was also hoping that I'd have the opportunity to chat with Ron and to give a big welcome to Toby. So welcome, Toby. It's great to have you here at the Community Partnerships. Of course, I'm always appreciative of all the work the agencies in Bucks County do, but I am especially appreciative this year. We have been through a great deal, all wondering about our own welfare as well as the welfare of our coworkers and the clients that we deal with. I appreciate your courage and your stamina in keeping your organizations open as much as you could, keeping your administrations going, calling your staff back, and now beginning to rebuild as you continue to help the people of Bucks County. At some point this year, I'm hoping we are going to return to the old normal. And when we do, I hope we will take the lessons we learned from the COVID experience, because we will be stronger, we will be more resolute, we will be able to develop, I believe, a better quality of service and a more efficient quality of service as we continue to serve the residents of Bucks County. So I appreciate you. I encourage you to stay safe, stay strong, and I look forward to seeing you once again in person when we get back to the old normal.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dan Weldon, Senior Consultant for Program Development and Education at Foundations Community Partnership.
Good morning. I'm Caroline O'Connell-Senton, Associate Director at Foundations Community Partnership.
We congratulate the 12 awardees for this year's Partnership and Youth Services grants. It was a very competitive field. All applicants were worthy contenders with wonderful programs.
The PYS grants serve to recognize nonprofit organizations new to FCP, as well as noteworthy new projects of previous grant recipients. We're delighted to recognize 7 new organizations this year.
I want to mention the selection process for these awards. Typically, there are more than 20 applicants for PYS grants. All applications are reviewed at 3 different levels. While this process is not as rigorous as the review for larger grants, applicants were evaluated with a highly focused lens before being chosen for this award.
Finally, although this is a virtual event, we would like to point out that the services provided by the awardees and all services provided by the nonprofit human service organizations in Bucks County are very real. FCP salutes your work to improve the lives of underserved individuals and families in Bucks County.
Thanks, and a virtual handshake to each of you.
Hi, I'm Leah Stallings, Executive Director at the Ark Wildlife Rehabilitation and Education Center in Chalfont. First, I would like to thank Foundation's Community Partnership for granting the Ark a PYS grant this cycle. COVID has been a special challenge for fundraising, and we really appreciate our partnership with FCP. Here at the Ark, we treat thousands of wild animals that are orphaned or injured and return them to the wild where they can thrive. We also conduct hundreds of environmental education programs to families and children of all ages. We have worked with Foundation's Community Partnership for over 10 years. They have provided us with interns and grants to support our summer camp, as well as a capital grant to help us build our beautiful new clinic and education center. The partnership with FCP has allowed us to offer these programs at no cost to at-risk children and youth. We look forward to working with FCP for years to come. Thanks again, Foundations. Hope to see you again soon.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kelly Krumenacker, Executive Director of the Bucks County Children's Museum in New Hope. The museum welcomes over 55,000 visitors annually and engages young learners ages 1 through 7 through 10,000 square feet of interactive exhibits and educational programming with universal design to meet the developmental needs of all children. Of course, the cost of museum admission is a barrier for low-income families, including 20,000 in Bucks County who receive SNAP benefits. In order to assist these families, BCCM offers the Museums for All Admissions program. Through this program, BCCM offers a discounted admission rate of $2 per person to families receiving food assistance or SNAP benefits. Although the museum is temporarily closed due to COVID, we can't wait to reopen our doors and welcome back the kids and get them back to the important work of exploring, discovering, and playing. On behalf of our staff, our board of directors, and our 850 member families, thank you, Foundation's Community Partnership, for supporting our mission and the families we serve.
Welcome to the Conservatory. My name is Rachel Gallagher, and I'm the Executive Director. The Conservatory is a nonprofit music school. We've been in the Bucks County community for over 30 plus years. Not only do we give music lessons, but we also provide tuition assistance grants to families with financial need. We have our Kindred Arts program that provides free programs to underserved youth. And our music therapy program provides musical experiences to those living with disabilities here in our building and with several partner organizations throughout Bucks County. We are so grateful to FCP for this Partnership in Youth Services Award. This award will go to support our art-supporting academic program. This program will allow kids to come in and bring in their homework and for us to help build their study skills while mixing it with experiences in music and art. Here are a few pictures of the kids who will be benefiting from this program. Love these kids, and we're so grateful for this grant. Thank you, FCP, and thank you to everybody else.
I Run for Life is a local nonprofit organization with a mission to help combat childhood obesity with our fun after-school running programs in 25 elementary schools with over 3,000 children participating. Our inclusive running program focuses on exercise, healthy nutrition, and doing good deeds in our community. We show young children that running outside with their friends and family and eating delicious fruits and vegetables is fun and easy, so everyone can do it. I Run for Life also has an annual kids-only 3K race each May at Doylestown Central Park, which is a huge community event where we celebrate our kids and their running accomplishments. We're always looking to expand I Run for Life into other elementary schools so we can spread our love of running with as many children as possible.
Camp for Kids is a 501c3 organization that helps children with autism and children at risk by offering free programs throughout the year. Camp for Kids is run by myself, Tim Morton, and my wife, Penny. We provide free camps for children with autism and their families and youth at risk. During Christmas, we provide a free day at Legoland for children with autism. And we donate 250 presents through the Toys for Tots program. We do events in which athletes from the Philadelphia Soul football team and the Philadelphia Union Soccer League interact with youth who are underserved. We own a full-size school bus, so transportation is not a barrier to children that need it. We take children with autism and their families to athletic events.
During the pandemic, we are providing meals to frontline workers such as medical and police. We have donated over 10,000 pounds of food to the community, as well as done an event called Pizza with a Purpose, where we gave out 100 free pies, dessert from Panera Bread, and gift cards to Giant. We also host drive-through food truck festivals, which include drive-in movies, cotton candy, popcorn, and music, all which individuals can enjoy from the safety of their cars.
Children are still predominantly quarantined in their homes, and the families that we serve have let us know that this has placed great stress upon their children due to the fact that they've been taken out of their normal regimen. We therefore wanted to provide free sensory-friendly care packages for children with autism in Bucks County, with items such as hand-quilted blankets, cloth masks with fun designs, play mats, games, projects, and treats. We thank Foundation's Community Partnership for their very generous grant that will allow us to fulfill the Sensory-Friendly Care Packages project. We are excited to see what is in store as Foundation's Community Partnership assists our organization's impact to grow in Bucks County.
My therapist helped me with my feelings. Our family got extra support to help me grow.
I love how Miss Allison comes to my house and helps me with different things.
They helped me find my words.
Because of this generous funding, Lenape Valley Foundation will be able to launch a program this year for kids. From everyone here at Lenape, thank you.
Thank you for helping children.
No Longer Bound would like to thank Foundation's Community Partnership. Our mission is to enhance community empowerment through addressing drug and alcohol use and other antisocial behaviors by providing training, resources, and prevention education. As an organization, we have focused our efforts on low-income, underserved communities within Bristol Township. No Longer Bound focuses on 3 areas: education, resources, and community connections. With the help of Foundation's Community Partnership, we will host a free out-of-school time program designed to support Bristol Township students in grades kindergarten through 5th from 4 to 5:30 p.m. This program will focus on educating the whole child by implementing the Healthy Eating and Active Time program. This curriculum focuses on making informed decisions about physical fitness and nutrition. On behalf of our Board of Directors and Executive Director, we thank you for your support and belief in our mission to empower the community, one person at a time. Thank you.
Everything you do from this point on is on display.
Valencia Peterson is not the typical football coach. For her, the game is more than X's and O's.
This is going to be the school where respect stands out.
She's a culture coach, but the players on the Truman football team call her Coach V.
The moment I met her, she touched all our hearts.
Coach V, man, she's a GOAT. She's so wise.
She leads the Open Door Abuse Awareness Prevention Program for football teams in the Philadelphia area.
Not about just football. That's why we have ODAP.
Teaching players how to treat women and end the cycle of abuse.
There's so many normalized behaviors out here that they really don't know. I don't know how many times I've heard, Coach, that's abuse.
In a volatile sport like football, she wants young men to leave their rough attitude on the field.
Miss V is really changing the whole stigma around football.
People look at football players as negative and over-aggressive.
Turn it off. Off the field, you don't put your hands on somebody.
She started ODAP in 2014. It was her own personal trauma that inspired her to make a change.
My father killed my mom when we were very young. I'm hoping to help these young men be better men so that they don't pass it on to another family.
Coach V has teamed up with 5 football teams in the area, and her players are making a pledge.
Being respectful towards others, themselves, and especially women and girls.
Seeing the guys around you be part of something positive, it naturally makes you want to be like, I also should get on board with it.
Players say Coach V is making a big difference.
She's helping the new generation.
Respecting women, just something that you should do.
I'm going to continue to tell my family and really get the word out.
Kendall Mental Health Center is a nonprofit community mental health center that has been providing psychiatric and social services to residents of Lower Bucks County for over 40 years. PMHC is one of the 3 base service units in Bucks County whose mission is to make sure quality services are readily available to all residents. PMHC is dedicated to promoting community well-being through the provision of comprehensive behavioral health treatment options, education and support to individuals and families of Lower Bucks County and the surrounding areas.
PMHC is proud to offer family-based services, behavioral health rehabilitative services, also known as wraparound, and operates a food pantry to assist Bucks County families in need. The CARES cupboard is staffed completely through donations from employees and the community. CARES cupboard is open to the residents between 9:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday.
PMHC is proud and thankful for our friends, supporters, volunteers, and benefactors, because without them, we would not be able to fully fulfill our mission. We welcome members of our community, our neighbors, friends, and business partners to assist PMHC in the important work we do. You can be a part of our mission.
Hi everyone, this is Annie and Tricia Stafford here from 10 to Hope. I just wanted to take a minute and thank Foundation's Community Partnership so much for their generous grant to us. In a small nonprofit like ours, it goes a long way. The mission of 10 to Hope is providing comfort boxes to individuals entering crisis facilities. We have a bag option, we have a box option. We've created some items in here that we think are hope building and comfortable during a time like this. We're operating out of a pretty small space here, but we're entering our 2nd or 3rd year of being up and running. So far, so good. I just want to thank everybody again at Foundation's Community Partnerships. We appreciate it so much, and we hope to work with everybody in the future. Thank you.
On a single day in 2001, our nation was forever changed. The tragic events of September 11th tore through our families and communities, but it did not break our spirit. Because on that day, a new generation of heroes was born. Military and first responders answered the call to serve, and they have continued to serve our country ever since. Among them was my brother, First Lieutenant Travis Manion, a Marine who went to Iraq and ultimately gave his life in service to this country. After the death of my brother in 2007, my family started an organization to honor Travis's legacy of character. Today, the Travis Manion Foundation is about more than one person. It's about honoring the legacy of all America's heroes who have stepped up to serve and sacrifice when our country needed them the most. And we're not just an organization, we're a movement. We're a community of veterans, families of the fallen, and inspired civilians, hundreds of thousands of people across the country, working together and leading with character. At Travis Manion Foundation, veterans lead the way. They're out in the community, assessing local needs and providing local leadership. They're working with youth, giving support, mentorship, and guidance, and they're here for one another, serving each other as they served our nation. Be a part of our inspiring team. Visit travismanion.org and join the mission.
How did the Students in Concert initiative come about? In the spring of 2012, members of the executive board of the Youth Orchestra of Bucks County approached Mr. Keith Krelove. He's the high school band director in our district. And the Youth Orchestra was very interested in entering into an outreach initiative with the Bristol Township School District.
Helped me because it made me learn that music isn't all about what you play. Even if you're having a really bad day, you gotta leave it at the door. And it made me realize that it's about the expression you put into it, and all your emotions come together and you make something truly great.
Good morning. I'm Peggy Hanselman, and I'd like to welcome everyone to our first virtual luncheon. I am on the board for Foundation's Community Partnership. In addition to welcoming you, we would like to also welcome, and we feel very fortunate to have our highly accomplished keynote address speaker for today. She is an author and an attorney, Melanie Lockwood Herman. In addition, she is the executive director of the nonprofit Risk Management Center in Leesburg, Virginia. The center provides consulting services, innovative web applications, and practical educational resources that help nonprofit management and leadership teams take the bold risks necessary to advance and to protect their missions. A prolific author of more than 20 books and comprehensive guides on various risk management topics, Melanie has delivered countless workshops, seminars, and keynote presentations for organizations simply unwilling to leave success to chance. One of her books, titled Exposed, has been described in part as helping to put legal fears to rest, especially if you have ever awakened in a cold sweat after a nightmare involving attorneys. Exposed is a legal field guide for nonprofit executives. Melanie earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Urban Affairs from American University in Washington, D.C., and a Juris Doctor from George Mason University in Arlington, Virginia. She is also a member of the District of Columbia Bar Association. In July of 2020, Melanie was named to the Nonprofit Times Power and Influence Top 50, whose editor has described her as the most in-demand expert in the nonprofit risk field and the architect of the risk plans of some of the nation's largest nonprofits. In addition to her professional career, Melanie is an active volunteer in both professional organizations and community-serving nonprofits, including American Foundation for the Blind and Campfire. We are delighted that Melanie joined us today to talk to our local nonprofit community about strategies to resume and to thrive in these difficult times. Welcome, Melanie.
Welcome to Strategies to Resume and Thrive. My name is Melanie Lockwood Herman. I'm the Executive Director of the Nonprofit Risk Management Center, and it's my pleasure to present this session today. You'll see on the screen in front of you my contact information, a phone number, and an email address. I encourage you to reach out to me directly if you have questions about any of the content I'm going to share in this program. The Nonprofit Risk Management Center is a national nonprofit organization that works to inspire effective risk management in the nonprofit sector. Our hope is that by embracing risk management, nonprofit organizations will be able to take more risk to advance their missions. For this presentation, I have 3 topics. I want to start with resources and share some helpful materials that I think you will find useful as you look at resumption strategies in your organization. And then I want to delve into 5 strategies to resume and thrive. And then I'll close with 2 final tips and takeaways. All right, let's talk about resources. So if you'll go to nonprofitrisk.org, you'll find a plethora of resources related to risk and risk management. You'll find books. Our most recent book is called World-Class Risk Management for Nonprofits. You'll find our Risk e-News. We publish the back issues of that weekly newsletter. I hope you'll consider signing up for that. And you'll also find our magazine, which we call Risk Management Essentials. And there are a number of issues of that magazine that I think are especially relevant during the present day, during this pandemic that we're all facing and coping with. One issue that I think is especially relevant is the crisis management issue. You'll see that on the slide in front of you. Another issue that's really relevant, especially relevant this year, is our business continuity planning issue. So you'll see a snapshot of that on the slide in front of you. So these magazines are downloadable as PDF files. You can also read the articles contained in the magazines online, and I hope you'll find these resources helpful. 2 additional resources I wanted to mention. One is a fillable PowerPoint presentation that was developed by FEMA, by the federal government agency FEMA, and it's available at fema.gov/prepareathon. And what this is a PowerPoint presentation that has customizable hazard-specific scenarios. And if you're looking to do tabletop exercises or any sort of planning exercises with your team to get ready for the next interruption, you'll find this PowerPoint really helpful. You can add specific information related to your organization and kind of run through those exercises. Another terrific resource is something that my team created. It's a set of fillable PDFs with various worksheets. You can find that set of fillable PDF documents at nonprofitrisk.org under the Resources tab. The fastest way to get to that set of fillable PDFs is to type Ready, Set, Learn in the search box in the upper right-hand corner at nonprofitrisk.org. When you do that, you'll see this article, Ready, Set, Learn, Get Ready Now for What's Next. And at the bottom of the article is that green button, which will allow you to access and download those fillable PDFs. So there are 3 different forms, but they're all contained in one PDF resource. Another really important resource for organizations that are based in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, is the state's website, which is called Process to Reopen Pennsylvania. So I encourage you to get as familiar as possible with the reopening strategies in Pennsylvania. And this website has some great information. And it tells us that as of July 3rd, Pennsylvania has been in the green phase. So it's important that you take some time to understand this. I would bookmark this page and go back to it from time to time to just stay up to date and abreast of what's happening in Pennsylvania, what the rules are, what the expectations are, what the guidelines are for your organization. I also want to mention the Risky News, that weekly newsletter. You can sign up to receive that every week at nonprofitrisk.org. And again, there are many articles related to business continuity planning, crisis management, resilience, and resumption. We've really been focused on these topics during 2020, and we hope you'll find all of the insights and recommendations and ideas in the Risky News helpful to your organization. So definitely remember to take advantage of resources that were created for organizations like yours. All right, now let's turn our attention to the second of the 3 topics for today, and that's our 5 strategies to resume and thrive. So what I've done is I've chosen 5 topics from a list of 10 that we published in an infographic form and also an article form a couple of months ago. If you want to see the full article and information on all 10 strategies, just go to nonprofitrisk.org, find that search box in the upper right-hand corner and type in Take 10. And that will take you to a full article with information on all 10 strategies, as well as the infographic that you're seeing now. I've chosen 5 to talk about today. The first one is reconnect with everyone in your ecosystem. This is a really important step to strengthening your organization. And really what this is referring to is reaching out to people and organizations that are really important to your mission. And first of all, reach out to find out how are they doing? How are they faring during the pandemic? But then also start to talk a little bit about how your organizations will be working together in the months and years ahead. So you may have contractors that are vital to your mission. You may have other nonprofits that are vital to your mission. There may be funders that are vital to your mission. You want to think about that incredibly important ecosystem that brings your mission to life. You know, no organization is an island. None of us can do what we do alone. We really rely on a lot of people and a lot of organizations. And so this pandemic has been a chance to really pause and reflect and think about the importance of that ecosystem. And I encourage you, if you haven't already reached out to people in your nonprofit's ecosystem, there's never been a better time to do that. And again, start with how are you faring? How are you doing? And then continue with, you know, what are your thoughts about how we're going to be working together in the months and years ahead? What's changed? You know, what's new? How do we need to maybe shape or think about our relationship a bit differently? Number 2 on my list is to embrace change. So I saw a presentation early on in the pandemic presented by a consultant by the name of Brian Moran. And, you know, he talks a little bit about the fact that change is happening and change is upon us. And many of us are uncomfortable with change, or we don't like when things change a great deal. But he said, you know what, in an organization, there are different types of change, right? And he says, step back and think about all of the plans that you made for 2020, right? All of the strategies you were hoping to implement, all of the things you were hoping to do. And he said, instead of feeling as if all is lost, you know, instead of feeling a bit helpless or hopeless, he said, divide your strategies or your plans into 3 categories. And when you break them down into 3 categories, they become a bit more manageable and it doesn't feel so daunting. And I really like his categories. So the first category would be those things that were kind of blown up by COVID-19 and its aftermath. So identify those things that you were hoping to do this year, planning to do this year, maybe even planning to do next year, and put them in a bucket which is titled plans that were blown up, right? Things that are simply impractical to do this year. And then your second category will be things that are okay, plans that are okay, things you can still do, things that you are doing, right, that you're continuing to do. Those are those things that were not really affected by COVID-19. And then the third category are those plans or strategies or activities that are salvageable, that need some help, right, that need some close attention to make them work. I think when you break your plans and strategies and activities for 2020 and maybe even 2021 into these three categories, you'll be able to focus, right? Sometimes it feels overwhelming. The impacts of the pandemic feel overwhelming to us, but if we break them down into these three categories, if we break down our strategies and plans and hopes for this year and next year into these three categories, we'll find that we can kind of zoom in on and focus greater attention on those things that are actually okay, and also those things that need to be salvaged, those things that need to be fixed or modified to be successful. Another tip from Brian Moran was to create 30, 60, and 90-day plans. Nonprofit organizations are really good at and experienced at creating annual plans, right? We create an annual plan, an annual programmatic plan. Many of us have strategic plans which cover multiple years. But what Moran said in his presentation was that because of the circumstances of the pandemic and the nature of the pandemic, we need to come up with a shorter planning timetable. We need to get comfortable with shorter timeframes. And he suggests 30, 60, and 90-day plans that you continually update. So every 30 days you revisit your 30-day plan. What are we focused on as a team in the next 30 days? What's important in the next 60 days? And let's think really long term. Let's talk about 90 days. And I feel that this approach makes planning more manageable, and it extracts some of that worry and uncertainty that happens when we think about an annual plan or a 5-year plan, which are the time frames that most of us are accustomed to pre-pandemic. So here's a very simple format or a sample format for a GPS plan, right? A 30-day plan. What are your goals? What are your targets, right? What are you going to be measuring? And what are your steps and strategies? And then for your 60-day plan, use a similar format. So this could be a slide. This could be a Word document. This could be an Excel spreadsheet. But it just takes the concept of short-term planning in these 3 different timeframes and breaks it down. I think you'll find it pretty easy to use. And I think it'll feel comforting to the members of your team to know that, yes, we still maybe have some goals for the year or goals for the next 5 years, but because of all of the things happening around us that are beyond our control, we're going to work on some shorter time frames and do some planning along the lines of these shorter time frames. Number 3 on my list is to update essential policies, right? Every organization has policies. Many of us have a large collection of policies. And it's important that we take a second look at those policies and make sure that they make sense given current circumstances. So for example, you may have guest and visitor policies on the books from long before the pandemic. These need to be updated. These need to be rewritten to note when access restrictions are necessary and then how to execute them. And if you previously had pretty restrictive work from home policies, these probably need to be retooled as well and to be more comprehensive, right? To cover the fact that you're using new technologies to enable and support people that are working from home. Some of the other policies I would encourage you to take a look at include your temp staff policies, your staff travel policies, policies that govern the care of vulnerable clients, flex time policies for staff who are caregivers for young children or even elderly family members. So, there are a lot of new things happening in the workplace, and we want to take a look at those historic policies that have been in place for many years and do 2 things. We want to update them, and wherever possible, I want you to simplify them, right? Take out some of that jargon, take out some of that confusing language, and add kind of a human element to them and improve them. I think this is a great opportunity to actually go back and fix some of those policies that were pretty archaic, pretty legalistic, and overly formal, and make them relevant to today's workforce and today's workplace. Number 4 on my list of 5 strategies is to provide the resources needed for the job. This is an interesting idea that we sent people home to work remotely. Some of them had home offices and had appropriate equipment they could use to work effectively, and many did not. So make sure that you're providing whatever resources your team needs to work effectively from wherever they're working, right? So that now's not the time to be stingy about providing a headset if that helps somebody focus better, if they're in a crowded home or there's a home with distractions and noise. and they want to focus on their work. They want to kind of block out those distractions or those noises, or they're embarrassed of those things that are going on around them. So make sure that you provide that equipment. If there's equipment at the office that they can use at home, let them go back to the office to get that equipment. And then I'd also encourage you to put together a welcome back kit, right? It's a simple kit that has items that somebody might need for when they return to work, when they return to the office. Hang on just a second, we just grab this. So this is an example of the welcome back kit that we created here at the Nonprofit Risk Management Center. It has our logo on it, and inside there's a collection of things from sanitizer to hand lotion to wipes and so forth, a stylus. So put together a welcome back kit. You can do this. You don't have to go with a branded version of it, but I think this is kind of a nice way to say welcome back to the office when you do return. And here are some things that will be really helpful to keep you safe and help you practice good hygiene while you're in the office. So make sure you're providing those resources needed for the job. And then number 5 on my list is to put your team on a pedestal. And that may sound kind of like a strange piece of advice, but you know, unfortunately, there's a lot of mistrust between supervisors and managers in many organizations, including nonprofits. And I think it's so important that if you expect your staff to trust you as a leader, you need to demonstrate your faith and trust, right? And part of that is allowing people to work wherever they feel most comfortable. So some staff members are going to feel very comfortable coming back to the office once you've got those cleaning protocols in place, but others are going to feel very uncomfortable coming back to the office. So I encourage you to try to be flexible, you know, treat everybody as a unique human being, and demonstrate your faith and trust in them, just as you would expect them to have faith and trust in you. And I also like the idea of conducting a figurative temperature check before you fully announce your resumption strategy. So before you insist that people come back to the workplace, find out how people are doing. Check in with people one-on-one, and make sure that you're providing a private channel to do that, right? So a huge mistake that many of us have made is in the middle of a staff meeting on Zoom or another platform, we've asked everybody to raise their hand and talk about how comfortable they are coming back to the workplace. A much better strategy is to talk to people one-on-one. So talk to everybody on your team one-on-one to find out how they're feeling. Let them express those feelings and share those worries and concerns with you one-on-one versus asking them to announce that in more of a public setting. And then finally, you know, be patient, kind, and flexible. You know, these are words of wisdom that apply during any time, but I think they're especially important during this pandemic. People are nervous, people are worried, people are caring for family members who are ill, and there's so many things going on. There's so much disruption in the world and in our lives. We need to remember as leaders that, you know, patience is so important. We need to be patient with ourselves, but also with others. We need to be kind to ourselves and to everybody around us, and we need to be flexible. So if somebody has a special concern, a special issue, they need some additional help, some special help, I urge you to try to provide that. I want to close with a couple of tips and takeaways. The first one is to seize the day. So, you know, there's never been a better time to kind of double down on professional development. Most of us are not traveling like we did before the pandemic. One of the things I've been trying to do since the pandemic began is to really up my reading and to read more books than I typically do. One of the first books I read this year is called The One Thing by Gary Keller. And there's some great tips. One of the tips is just to simplify your list, simplify your to-do list by having one really important thing you're trying to accomplish every day. One of the things we've done with my team is to have a one thing every week. So when we get together as a team on a weekly basis, we talk about what's the one thing I'm focused on this week, right? And in the book, Keller talks about, you know, a classic one thing is something that if you were to do that, everything else would be easier or unnecessary, or many other things would be easier or unnecessary. So try to simplify your life a little bit by choosing one thing to focus on every day, maybe every week, and even every month. And I would do that personally as well as professionally. And then the second tip I want to share is to stay future focused and positive. So it's kind of 2 tips in one. You know, each of us wants to learn from our mistakes. And of course, as human beings, we make a lot of mistakes. want to try to learn from our mistakes, but I encourage you to be boldly optimistic, right? Imagine a much brighter future, a better future for yourself, for your family, and for your organization. There are always silver linings behind every cloud, and it's really important that we remind ourselves of those silver linings during this pandemic. So how do I do that? Well, one way to do that is to ask these 3 questions. I encourage you to do this. The first is, 2 years from now, where do we want to be as a team, as an organization? And what are the things that are likely to shape this future? What are 5 factors that will shape this future, that will make this future possible? And then finally, as a risk management question, I love this one. What are the bold risks we must embrace today to get there, to get to that future that we envision? I want to thank you for joining me for this program, Strategies to Resume and Thrive. I hope it was helpful. I hope I've given you some food for thought. I hope you want to follow up on some of the things I've suggested. And lastly, I hope you'll reach out to me if you have questions, if you want to chat about anything that I've shared today, if you have questions about risk management, really anything that I might be able to help you with. You can see my contact information on the screen in front of you, my phone number and my email address. I would love to hear from you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, friends, for joining us for our Partnership and Youth Services virtual luncheon. Congratulations again to all of the grant recipients, and a special thank you to our keynote speaker, Melanie Lockwood Herman. Don't forget to like, share, and follow us on social media to get the latest on our upcoming grant application deadlines, as well as important information for our nonprofit sector. We sincerely appreciate you spending this time with us, and hope that you feel inspired and motivated by the stories of perseverance today, and continue to resume and thrive during this difficult time. More importantly, please continue to practice social distancing and stay healthy so that we can all be together again soon. So in the spirit of 2020, be well and take good care of each other.